loose confederation that's getting more solid now. More of us are getting together and rallying. And we are not against you. We're here to help you. And I think that all of the law is already printed out in MRSA and Prop 64. If you just read the law, everything is there that you need. There is a clause for abatement.
Ron, we're trying to keep this at 3 minutes.
Already there.
We're trying to keep this at 3 minutes for everybody. We want to make it fair, and your time is...
What's that?
Your 3 minutes is over.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you again. You ever need my help?
Yes.
I'm available.
I'm here to ask a couple of questions about the money that goes to the general fund. How long did it take? You said you donated $30 million to Denver. Am I correct? Under Frank 22. We're talking about
that. That was a stat from a publication that said the 2 companies that that specific business school looked into had earned a revenue of $30 million in the city.
How long did that take for once these projects started?
In an annual revenue, I do believe. I'm not sure.
Could you say that again?
I think that the slide, I should have read that slide a little closer. I memorized it, but sorry guys. But I do believe that was an annual revenue, or that may have been an annual revenue.
That was $30 million annually?
Yeah. For 2 large businesses that have 280 employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
My concern again is with the county. We're talking jobs, we're talking money. I just heard we're in a deficit, the county is. Is that correct? It is? Okay. So there's 2 things you're going to have to start doing. That either lay off employees or start finding revenue for the citizens of Lassen County. And usually that's through taxes. You have a company here who's going to give you money to provide in your general fund road, parks, law enforcement, and whatever means you can take out of that general fund. Why would you chase them away? Because you're worried about what's happening at the federal level? Those people can't even talk to each other right now. They're all they're doing is accusing each other of wrongdoing. What we need is to provide the necessary services to this community. And that's the entire Lassen County, and we got somebody who's willing to do it. You guys need to think this over. Forget about the federal government. Represent the people here at Lassen County. Hoorah!
Thomas Lassen, you're next.
When did the 30 seconds start?
I'll stand up.
Anyway, there's been some back and forth about putting money or taking money in and out of the general fund. And I think there should be, first of all, there should be a cleanup. It's kind of like, people that are married have a general fund. And sometimes the spouse goes bad and all the money goes somewhere, where it's not supposed to go. So, point in case, by last month or so, we have to dish out, I don't know where the $100,000 have to go out, but there were people that are being harassed at the courthouse. And I read in the newspaper that the payout was $100,000 and $1. And with all due respect, we got Reno, we could have saved a lot of money, But as it pertains to this, the general fund, has it always been, is it always good? Is it always 5-star? Is it always, there for everybody, I guess? That was one of my questions. Before we put something into some bank deposit somewhere, what is going to happen with that money? Has the ad hoc committee considered what it's going to do with the funding that comes into it, or is it just going to be dispersed evenly and equally all over the place, or that kind of stuff? I guess I'm looking for a cash flow statement of where that money and taxation will go. And then secondly, there was an individual that didn't like it being called marijuana, and marijuana apparently legally, technically, is a certain strain. So when you think about it, are we making a law against a certain strain of cannabis, and maybe we should just adhere to that, or are we indicating that all cannabis? because we keep on tossing the word marijuana, marijuana, marijuana. Well, we can toss the word purple kush, which means then there's a moratorium only on purple kush and not cannabis. So apparently, the way I'm reading it is that you guys are passing a law on a certain strain and not the whole entire cannabis, only a certain strain, which is marijuana. So that would be nice if it was clarified. Thank you.
Can I comment real quick also?
Thank you,
That's something that we proposed. The supervisors in no way, that was just our proposal. We haven't even actually had a conversation about where the taxes would be appropriated. That's just something I put in my presentation as kind of an offering because I wouldn't know how else to do it. So just to be clear, that was me. My proposal.
Okay, you want to say something?
Okay, in closing, this is my personal opinion. I have a lot of doubts about a moratorium, a ban working. I don't think it's going to work. So this board needs to be proactive and reactive. And if we ban it, we're going to have an explosion in the summertime. And then how are we going to handle that explosion? On Sunday, we had 2 sheriff's deputies on duty in the entire Lassen County. It's something that we really need to think about. If we can get some money for, you guys come up with a source of revenue, and let's entertain that. And frankly, I'm a little surprised that, and I like the ad hoc guys, but you guys came up with this recommendation before you sat through a public meeting, before you heard the presentation. Yeah, so to me, it was a little bit premature. And I'm not
For marijuana use, I don't smoke it. But in terms of this operation coming in, I've seen in the last few years the promises of growth and all the money and the jobs and the retail and all that stuff with promises of prisons and all to no avail. And so I'm not too impressed with another operation coming in and seeing more than false promises. I'm opposed.
Thank you. Was there anybody else who wished to speak on this issue that hasn't already spoke?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Felix.
We had a couple of people ask this body here about some answers. And you just told them they need not to answer those questions.
That's right, because this is a public hearing. This is a public hearing. I give everybody up here 3 minutes a chance to talk. During public comment, the presenters, you ask questions to the board and supervisors, and that's the way it is. Felix. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Come on. Let's keep our meeting as orderly and in a timely fashion. We've got a big group. We've heard this a lot, and etc. We're keeping this orderly and we're keeping it civil. Now, is there anybody else who wishes to speak, address the board on the issue at this time? Is somebody else that hasn't spoken yet?
I had something to say, but I'm not going to come up here and be that rude to people that live around here.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to, it's your problem. Okay. Jeff.
I'd like to make one more comment. I don't think I can. I'd like to get a cottage permit, which is available now to small growers. I'm a breeder as well as a medical patient. I'd like to be able to grow my own varieties and offer those seeds for sale in the state. Those permits are available now, or at least the application process is. It's part of allowing all the commercial growing into our county. And all the commercial growing is what's going to bring the money to our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there anybody else?
Yes, I overcame here. I'd like to ask the question, this is going to be whether we want it or not, And that's my problem. We ought to get in here and realize that it's taking over the country. And I'd rather have us be in control. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Okay. With that, then we'll bring it back up here to the board. Anybody have anything, Jeff?
I think that we listened to you guys today, and I appreciate your presentation. And as far as the residents here, I appreciate you guys coming in. And Iona's right. It's not going to go away. It's about how Lassen County wants to deal with the problem. And I think maybe, we know it's here. We need to figure out a licensing scheme so we can get some money in this deal, is the way I'm looking at it. So that's what I'd like staff to do, is figure out what kind of bid, and you growers need to contact your supervisor and tell them what kind of fee you're going to want to pay. It's to help with the illegal, Yes, go ahead.
Did you address that question about 90 fees?
Yeah.
I would even as a personal grower, or the businesses would pay bigger fees. The only thing is this, already for Proposition 64, it's already taxed on a couple of pretty hefty taxes on it, and then the distributors are going to want an extra thing. By the time it gets to the market, it's going to be prohibition prices all over again. So what I'm saying is this, if you want to tack on something like to make some revenue for the county, don't hurt us too bad, or we won't be able to pay it. The next thing, you'll drive the whole works back into the underground market. So, try to keep from getting the price too high.
No, I just think that's what we need to do, is direct staff in that direction. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and Bill.
I want to say one thing real quick. As one, yes, I want to thank everybody for coming out again. This is a very contentious issue, and I want to thank the presenters that come all the way out here from Colorado. They're here. They're going to be here afterwards. You guys can, there's a bunch of questions that I'm sure everybody has, and they could probably be here all day long as far as that goes, answering questions for everybody and whatnot. I think a bunch of the questions can be addressed to them personally, maybe after the meeting when they can break up and you guys can get them all at once, etc. As far as, the ad hoc committee, not being at these public meetings, maybe they haven't got to one in Jensen Hall here. I know Supervisor Teeter is a supervisor-elect. He was at the board meeting in Big Valley where we talked about this issue. We heard from a lot of people. I also know that he was at Eagle Lake at the town hall meeting out there. We heard from the people. And I know Mr. Gallagher has dealt with this issue with his entire adult life with his offices. So with those, I think that they were very well versed and with some of their experiences. And so to say that they made this recommendation prematurely, I disagree with that statement.
Also, the framework that we're talking about at this point doesn't even exist. The season is beginning now. So any revenue that we're talking about isn't revenue for this fiscal year for certain, and is questionable for next fiscal year. The other further question I have is, if we were to throw it wide open, what would our abatements on those people that are illegal growers now, what would we hold over them, if anything at all, if we throw it open to commercial growing? It does reduce our footprint. Well, I'm sorry, but these gentlemen and ladies are commercial growers. I mean, there is no doubt that that's why they're here. Even the gentleman over here, who I'm sympathetic to his needs, is talking about needing commercial. That's what we're looking at, is commercial growing.
These guys just said they wanted to pay a fee to grow their own medicine.
Well, and that revenue would be here when, Jeff?
Pardon?
And that revenue would be here when, Jeff?
I run my car. Right now.
Right now, we would have the framework for it.
We have a registration program right now in Lassen County to register medical businesses. Already operating. We'll pay now. We have a
Yeah.
We have a track and trace program.
First off, Tom, this board was the one that set up the committee. So if you didn't want either one of us on the board, you should have volunteered.
I guess.
So I take exception to that. The other thing is, this committee was meant to look at the law for 2018, not today, not right now, because this really doesn't come into existence until 2018. So that was our charge. So what we're doing is looking at it, not wanting to be the first county to create a law that's going to challenge someplace. We're not talking about growing today. We're talking about the business in the future. And also, a committee can only give a recommendation to a board. It takes the board to ratify that decision. So we will be making that recommendation, but it's up to the whole board to vote on it. If you don't want it, don't vote for it. And also, what I'm really not getting is, from their presentation, I like this presentation. I like the company. I only see $43,000 coming our way. That doesn't even pay for our deputy for a year. For a license. So if you're doing medical, so where's the rest of the money coming from to the county that's going to benefit? I understand jobs. I understand that kind of revenue, but $43,000 ain't going to do it. Because
we're farmers too. We have
okay, so you're saying, okay, I didn't get that from your presentation. I didn't get the $43,000 per license. So if you're saying that you have 1, 2, because I wrote down every one, you have 2, 3, 4, 5 licenses times 43,000.
It's 4 outdoor times 42,000, and then 3 times 22,000, and then again, this is a proposal. And
right.
We're open to your criticism. And
okay, so I understand that. Now, I did not understand it from your presentation. So $200,000. It's probably going to be about a wash for us to do the regulation in terms of who we have to supply, because I can guarantee you this is not a code enforcement issue. This is a code enforcement, law enforcement issue. Always will be, just like alcohol. And so that is pretty much a wash for us in terms of the county. So if I was to go back and take a look at what it would cost us in terms of county positions to regulate this industry and charge by the license, I think it's going to be a lot more than that. And I know people will say, wow, how can that be? But when you start putting retirement, health benefits, pay, those type of things, it gets very expensive in a hurry.
With all respect, we've done this before.
No, I understand. So have I. I mean, I've worked in government for quite some time, so I know what those expenses are. So what I think that still needs to be looked at, and this is later on down the road for our committee, is how many total licenses there are going to be in this county, what we're going to allow, if we allow any, and take the dollar amount that it's going to cost us to do business and make that kind of division to figure out how much per license we charge to at least make our money back and it doesn't cost the general fund money. Because I think that should be our goal, is not to cost the general fund money here. So that's just my comment.
I do want to point out, I think Jeff and Tom are right. In the long term, we have to start looking at licensing. The problem still, to me, remains the federal government, and that's the lockstep that blocks us at this point. But I do believe Tom and Jeff are right that this is coming. What we're talking about today is this season where we don't have even clarity from the state of California. And so that's what we're looking at this meeting. And the ad hoc committee and this board continues to look at long-term answers also.
I'm going to pass this over to Richard, but I also want to remind everybody that the medical community, several years ago, we updated an ordinance. They come to us and they said that they needed these large number of grows to supply their medical needs, which is why we went to the tiered approach to send the 2 plants. And that created the monster that we dealt with last year. And we just got to end it.
Lack of regulation.
Because it was, that we listened to the people, the growers on the medical side of what they wanted, and we got, I don't know, we got kind of taken advantage of by the road people, so we need to be cautious.
Thank you. Sure. Alma, I was just going to clarify, if it's helpful, I think that we've got a couple of different revenue schemes, if you want to call them that, available to us. One being, the most obvious is taxation, which I think people lump all of them into that category, but it's really not accurate. Taxation can only occur as imposed by the voters of the public at certain elections. In this case, the next one that we could do that, I believe, is in June of 2018. So as far as enacting a tax, immediately or for this season or even next season, as Supervisor Teeter mentioned, it's not plausible to enact a tax. Now, a fee or a license, which can only be based on actual costs of whatever service that we're providing for that license, could be enacted sooner. There's, essentially, because we have this thing called the Constitution in California, prohibition against enacting a fee that exceeds the actual cost of providing the service. That's not a profit center for the county. That's not a net general fund revenue to the county in the sense that we can only collect the amount of fee that we're providing the service. Now, what these gentlemen have proposed, in essence, is kind of a third relationship, was a little bit unique to us, which is essentially an agreement or a license agreement where, and you guys can jump in here if I misunderstand what you said, but a program whereby they would fund a public benefit fund, for lack of a better word, that would be used at the discretion of the Board of Supervisors for their activities. Now, I think that the amount of that fund, which they project at $43,000 per license, and correct me if this has changed, but I think that's based on certain factors. In other words, it's not a set amount. It'd be on square footage or, okay. And so based on the square footage. But I think it's important to understand that enacting a fee is, sounds easy, sounds good, but we're prohibited in essence from trying to generate a net revenue from bylaw.
I just appreciate the fact that these guys came in with a solution. I appreciate that you guys came in here with a solution to the problem. Propose solution one, pay your way. I mean, the rest, it's kind of like the analogy with, we didn't have a pot problem. I thought about this the other day, until we had an ordinance. And we have an ordinance, all of a sudden we get blown out of the water here. Because we have an ordinance in Lassen County. We have people come in that weren't here before. And it's kind of like the open range law in Lassen County. We can turn cattle up. Cattle can run on open range. It's a right, if you will. But it doesn't mean if you went out today, I bet you couldn't find a dozen cows on the roads in Lassen County because we police ourselves. It's our money we're losing when we have cows on the road. And we don't want to, and when we have people abusing that, we go to those people that are abusing that law and have cattle in people's yards and turn them out in people's places. And we talk to them. We tell them, hey, you got to knock it off because we don't want to lose that as an industry. And I think that's what got lost with the marijuana thing, is we as a board thought that everybody's going to be law-abiding. We put 72 plants out and you have a house and you're going to come to Lassen County, you're going to do your 72 plants and have a house and live happily ever after. And we all know that didn't happen. So we as a board, we're kind of in a no-win situation here, what to do. But we also have to look to the future and see what's going on. And Prop 64 passed, and it's going forward whether we like it or not. It's just how we approach it. And that's what my opinion is.
Okay, well, thank you. So where are we at here, guys? I guess we're give it back to the ad hoc committee so they can work together with proposed recommendations. I mean, no, you get something to fill out.
With some action. Comfortable with the ad hoc committee? I
So you guys are still the committee. Yeah. And so I would suggest that you guys work with the county council to draft up your recommended and put it in writing and bring it back to us so we can all have a chance to look at the verbiage and bring it back to the board.
And also, I think that we should pursue Jeff's suggestion about the licensing thing and get some parameters for that. And so we have other alternatives. So we're not just stuck in one mode. So we have an open book. Because that's what we have a freight train coming and we can ignore it and let it blow up, or we can try to be proactive. So I would appreciate it if staff would try to come up with some kind of solution, and maybe work with Kine and Associates and come up with a better financial model.
And I agree with that statement too. Absolutely. You know, one way or another, we got to start looking at it. Like the federal government could change its mind at some point, so we cannot remain in stone. Okay, very good. So now we have direction staff. You're lying down, Bob.
You guys got to leave.
Okay. With that, we will move on to item H3, which is the resolution recognizing Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Day in Lassen County. Somebody can give a presentation on that? I know we have a presentation by Ron.
Sorry, guys.
I think this was for us to sign today so that I can take it to that event, I think on the 1st, April 1st, I think it is. Yeah. So I think if we just approve the resolution and allow me to bring it on that day to present it.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Sure. I'll make the motion that we approve resolution 2017-014 to recognize the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Day in Lassen County and to allow me to present the resolution on there. I think it was April 1st. That should be second.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Gallagher, seconded by Peter. Is there any other discussion? Anybody from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. With that, we will move on to item H4, and this is for the application of appointment to boards and committees, and this is for the Lassen County Fair Board. Where did Mr. Netfield go? Anyway, I'm going to recuse myself from this particular item. So,
Where'd he go?
he's coming.
We need a chairman.
Chairman.
Mr. Vice Chairman?
Vice Chair, get up here.
Thank you.
All right. We have Mr. Brett Smith, the whole slew, right? Dan Douglas. Holly Mueller. And Lonnie Maginski. Yeah, Lonnie Maginski and Kevin Stafford. Becky Albaugh. Is there a motion that we